The current spoiler warning level is butterscotch.
Friends and folks, for this episode, you're looking at a spoiler warning level of, I guess I'll say, butterscotch? We're talking about Star Trek Voyager stuff, and there's some details from the show, but I don't think there's anything super crucial. Please enjoy the episode. Hello friends and folks, and welcome back to another episode of Mechanista NG. It's dice time again. I'm Six Detmar.
And I'm Dylan.
Let's see. Switch your tab. Right? That's fucking so I'm stupid. Here's the tab I need. Here's the dice I need. I'm gonna roll. That's how that works.
Six might be a little tired.
We're having to record on the early side, and I don't love that. But what can you do?
Yeah.
Alright, and then there's the D4. Okay.
How's the weather out in California right now?
Hot.
Ah, that's funny. We have a couple inches of snow out here in March.
The high today is 94.
What is our high today is 34.
Yeah,
It's really funny to me as someone who moved from the West Coast to the East Coast. It's still, even to this day, how fucking, anyway. Yeah. Alright, well, let's do
it's really similar. I mean, we've got one digit in common. That's basically half the number.
Yeah, no, that's true. Not the important half, but,
Oh, wait, you just cheat if I gave you this information. I can't give you that.
What? How would I cheat?
I'm getting... just don't worry about it.
No, hold on. How the fuck would I cheat?
There was text. You would read the text.
Okay. All right, never mind. I don't feel as bad about that then.
There you go.
Oh, okay. This is a Star Trek ship. What is?
I don't know why you say that.
I don't know why I'd say that. I tend to say the word nacelle so often that it feels like not a real word. Well, okay. See, it was funny because I was like, oh, there must be katakana on this design or something, and instead it's, oh no, never mind. It's a, all right. I have no fucking clue. It's a Federation starship.
Okay, I'll get you more.
Okay. I already talked about Enterprises, so okay. Ooh, the shape of this. This isn't the Voyager, is it?
This is the Voyager.
Okay, alright. Yeah, because the Voyager's got a big-ass head.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is a request from listener Aiden.
It's not actually, I know, it's weird. That's how I remember it being the Voyager, though. When I saw how thick the, midsection is, I was like, oh, it's the Voyager, it's got the big head. That's how my brain parses it, is, it looks like a big head.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much how I parse it, too.
So, this is the ship of, Star Trek Voyager. It's an Intrepid-class starship. It mostly is known for getting really lost. Really lost. More accurately, it my brain's like, how did it end up in the Delta Quadrant again? Because, the idea is, the galaxy is divided into 4 primary quadrants, which would be, alpha, beta, gamma, or is it alpha, beta, gamma, delta? I assume it's gamma.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And so, humans are in. Humans and the Federation and whatnot are in the Alpha Quadrant. This is where,
Convenient.
most of Star Trek takes place. And then in DS9, this is how I remembered it was Gamma, is that's the whole thing, is there is a wormhole that leads to the Gamma Quadrant there, which has its own thing going on. And then in Star Trek Voyager, the Voyager gets launched into the Delta Quadrant, and I can't even remember how, because I haven't watched Voyager in... Oh no, it might be 15? 16 years, because I was still in high school. So I don't even remember how they end up I don't remember how they actually end up in the Delta Quadrant. Anyway, but this isn't about that anyway. This is about the ship, the Voyager. So yeah, it's an Intrepid-class. To describe its design, you've got kind of the similar shape you tend to have in a lot of Star Trek shows. The front... Well...
I'm reading here.
Yeah.
It seems like there's kind of not a lot of explanation. Federal Janeway recruited, blah, 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 blah. Well, Paris agreed to be brought on board an observer. After leaving the space station Deep Space Nine and entering the Badlands, Voyager was swept 70,000 light years into the Delta Quadrant.
Right.
It's like, okay, they just left and they were kicked there. Like, okay?
I'm, like, looking at Caretaker, because the whole thing is, they're chasing the Maquis, which are a, like, anti-Federation group within the humans, that are, you know, well, the Maquis is more than just humans, I should say, but, you know, like, Starfleet and anti-Cardassian-related, like, insurgents is how they are seen, and so she is chasing them, and like I said, it's just funny because I'm like, what? I don't even remember what happens. They're chasing Chakotay and the other Maquis, and then they end up in the Delta Quadrant. Anyway,
they were abducted by the
caretaker. Yeah, I don't remember any of this.
This seems stupid. I'm gonna stop reading this.
It's fine. Anyway, the excuse of the show is, so, hey, they can have adventures every week that are completely unrelated to, like completely alien to everything, you know, that we normally see in Star Trek, right? There's not, like they are away from the Federation, they are away from all of this, and there's also the tension of, they're trying to make it back home again. Now, in practice, they still generally just end up doing Star Trek episodes. And they kind of on and off the tension, because sometimes they'll be like, okay, we have to mention how many torpedoes do we have left. And then sometimes it's like, they got more. Don't worry about it, because, you know, you have different writers week to week too. You know, it's syndicated television. You cannot, like, even normal Star Trek is hard to stay consistent sometimes. And this one, it's like, oh, you know, this is a very, like, this would be a very limited show in what they can do if we had to, like, memorize that week to week. Some writers just kind of throw it out week to week. You know, it's fine. It's just how it goes. Anyway, back to the description. So the ship, you have, like, an elongated, like, bridge. Well, not bridge. What do I call it? It's the saucer section, yes. It's an elongated saucer section. It's more ovular rather than just, like, a normal circle, stretched forward. You still have things like... I actually don't know. I'm pretty sure that's still the bridge at the top area, like there. I don't know what that is now. Anyway, but it has the same basic makeup. You've got a very flat main body. The main body is, like, you know, rounded around the top and the bottom, and then, you know, kind of like more flattened on the sides. You've got a very ovular shaped deflector dish on the bottom of that main body there. And then the nacelles are connected very far on the back of the ship. So you've got these two wings that go out from the back, and then the nacelles they're attached pretty thickly along the middle. You just got a long connection piece there. The nacelles are armored on the top and bottom. You've got some red lights on the front and a blue glowing light on the outside. And yeah, that's, like, for the design of the Voyager, that's the thing going on with it. It has some weirdness to it. There's the time that it gets poisoned by cheese, if I remember right. Because there's like biological components on the ship for some reason.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to see if I could find more. Yes. The ship has bioneural circuitry, which is to say, it has like neurons and whatnot in order to help organize its information in its computers and inside of it. Now, the problem is the bioneural technology could be affected by viruses and other agents. And I'm pretty sure it gets infected by cheese. I can't. I feel bad that I can't remember.
No, I found this.
Okay, yeah. Because I think Neelix somehow poisons the ship, which is very goofy.
There's the cheese.
It has, it is meant to be a advanced censorship, which kind of works out for it being, way out in the middle of nowhere. And that's basically it, right? It's like a fancy research vessel almost. It's got like it's funny because it happens to be equipped with like the long range scanners and whatnot, and like really good response time on the computer, and it's all stuff that happens to work out really well for it getting launched way out in the middle of the Delta Quadrant.
Did you know it was shut down by cheese twice?
Oh, was it shut down by cheese twice? Excuse me?
One of them is not in Voyager. One of them is, it looks like in, what show is this? This is probably Lower Decks, I'm guessing.
Okay. If it's a cartoon.
By the art style?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty
apparently
funny.
It gets taken over by Borg, and they're like, well, we know a way to shut the ship down. Get some cheese.
Okay, you know what? I like that. I like that. I like when they remember dumb things from Trek is the thing.
I mean, that's what I hear about Lower Decks, is if you like Star Trek, Lower Decks has a good sense of humor about some of the stupider things in the series, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, like all Federation ships, it has phasers, it has photon torpedoes, it does have a deflector shield. Apparently, it could also use quantum torpedoes with some modification. It could also carry spatial charges and tri-cobalt devices, the latter of which were not normally carried on Starfleet vessels. Spatial charges being, I think they're essentially mines. They can be used as missiles or explode at predetermined points in space or be mines or be bombs. Basically, it's a multi-function explosive that you can, if you play GoldenEye, it's like how the little remote bomb works, where sometimes it can be remote, but also time, but also proximity. Kind of the same thing.
Sure.
What's a tri-cobalt? 3 cobalt. I know that.
Yeah, sounds like you answered your own question.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm like, what does it do special? They have a yield of 20,000 Terracocranes, twice the necessary yield of, I guess, default devices. And that gets used by Voyager, and, those go off and those destroy the caretaker's station. And that's what kind of ends up causing the problems. It also, near the end of the series, gets upgraded with ablative generators and transphasic torpedoes, both of which were bought back in time by a future version of Janeway from 2404. I love when you just start reading a Star Trek thing and it's just like, yeah. I feel bad because I'm a little mean to Voyager because I didn't like Voyager as much as TNG.
It's a bad show.
I didn't like it as much as TNG or DS9. But I haven't rewatched it.
Basically no one does.
I know, but I haven't rewatched it in so long that part of my brain goes, maybe I'd be nicer to it now.
It's possible you would. Rewatching is such a luxury.
Well, especially, the problem with Voyager is rewatching syndicated television especially, right? I can make kind of an excuse to watch, like, even a 50-episode anime is kind of cutting it, but, like, a 24-episode anime, it's probably why I got so into watching like movies and stuff too, because it's so much easier to just watch a movie.
Yeah.
But like the problem with Voyager is how many episodes is it? It's 7 seasons, like all the old Treks, so it's a lot of episodes to watch. Yeah, I mean, it's 7 seasons that have 26 episodes, and season 1 has 16 episodes. So, 26 times 6, or, 26 times 6, is 156 plus 16, would be, why am I, math, 172. And so, 172 episodes of a show you might not super love is hard to watch. It's a lot harder than when I was in college, or actually high school at the time, right? Fuck. My brain is like, oh no, I must have been in college. But no, if it's 2010, yeah, no, I was still in high school. I think I was still using, because that was when all the shows were still on Netflix, and I think I used my friend's, Netflix login at the time. And I would just, when I would get home from school, I would, put those on while I was doing stuff. But yeah. Anyway, other things going on with it. Later it gets some Borg enhancements because of course they meet the Borg in the Delta Quadrant as well. Which, it's supposed to be all new stuff, but the Borg are here.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a queen, and it's weird. They have a fancy astrometrics lab that can measure the radiative flux of up to 3 billion stars simultaneously. And also could then use that to calculate its position relative to the center of the galaxy. Basically so they can know exactly where they are, given that they are technically in uncharted territory. And then there's the emergency... they have the emergency medical hologram. So, one of the more entertaining parts of the show is Robert Picardo as the Doctor, who is, hey, what if we just used a hologram, like a computer intelligence, as the Doctor instead? Now, obviously, in the modern day, my brain goes, oh no, but we weren't tainted by what goes on with AI nowadays, and he is my favorite character, one of my favorite characters in the show. Mostly because I think Robert Picardo is a very fun actor.
I mean, it's just the taint of the modern misuse of the term AI.
I mean, yeah,
He's
well, that's the
supposed to
thing,
be
right? It's
actual
not the
AI,
same.
Not an LLM.
MLM. Large LLM. There we go. Too many acronyms there. LLMs are, not the same, and it is unfortunate because it's the proliferation of AI is the term for it. Just ruins everything, and it makes even going back to old stuff annoying. Not actually because it's bad, but because your brain just goes, and it makes you mad about the modern day. Anyway, all that said, yeah. So the Voyager, the Intrepid-class, it's a cool ship. Long-term exploration missions, which is really funny to me because, hey, that happens to work out, even though it wasn't planned to do this. It is less than half the size of the Galaxy-class. It was considered quick and smart in comparison. You don't have the whole crew's family on board like you do with the Enterprise, the old Enterprises and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm like, what else? Are there there are variants of the Intrepid. We just talked about the Voyager, which is technically one of them. Okay, there's actually not very many, luckily. Good. I'm going to ignore this one called USS Voyager Biometric Copy, which I don't even remember this episode of the show. But anyway, there's the USS Bellerophon, which is, they functionally are all going to look the same. They all have different registry numbers, but which shows up in a DS9 episode. Probably, yeah, it's a reuse of the Voyager, of some Voyager sets. Which makes sense because,
Yeah.
The shows are running concurrently. It is good for them to be able to borrow from each other, especially in terms of shooting a live-action science fiction television show that uses a lot of models and sets and whatnot. There was the USS Endeavour, which is the one that one of them that comes up in lower decks. There's the USS Intrepid, which, named after the actual thing. It seems like it is, it gets deployed in Star Trek Nemesis the movie, and at one point, Chakotay makes up a story about being transferred from the Intrepid. It was apparently on a 3-year tour patrolling the neutral zone, and then, it was succeeded by another ship in Picard, which, even though it's succeeded by another ship, that ship's actually of a different class. Because, the names are the when we think on our show, we're like, this is succeeded by, we don't think of names moving forward. We think of like, this is the machine that is based on the, like, improvement of the prior.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess that's still, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Anyway, there's also a USS Valiant. This is not the normal Valiant that one may know in Star Trek, because there's a few Valiants. This is one that comes up in Star Trek Nemesis. It is destroyed. Or no, it is active. It was forced to face the Scimitar without the support of the fleet, but when Shinzon ambushed the Enterprise in the Bassin Rift, I guess, it didn't get destroyed. And that's it.
That's good.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This is not my favorite design of ship. There are some elements of it I like. I think the elongated saucer section is cool, and I like the really set back wings. Something about it has always come across as a little boring to me, admittedly. I don't know if... You know what it is? I kind of wish... It's funny, because I like looking at it from the bottom and not the top. I kind of wish the top had, like, the way that this looks up there.
I mean, the front-on view also is... I mean, this is not from Voyager itself, so, the render is nicer. But, like, that looks interesting. Yeah. And again, there's some fancier features on it, right? Like, the way the nacelles are positioned is really fun. I like that they're just kind of wings. Also, admittedly, I like the render here because I like the way the paint job looks here. Though, actually, this does fuck up. One of the things that's iconic about this design is the way... Oh, wait. Never mind. It's that they move. Oh, never mind. I'm stupid. I was going to say that one of the things that's iconic about the design is that the nacelles are at an angle, but apparently their little arms can move, so that's why.
Oh, you can see the little rotation mechanism there. I forgot about that. That's fun. But
yeah. They sort of pop up when they go fly fast, and, there's no logical reason that would do anything, but that's fine.
Well, I mean, position of thrust relating to the rest of the mass you are pushing would still matter in space, ultimately.
Right,
and
but
back and all.
Are you just saying, like moving it close? Well, then you're not ambacking.
Well, you're not
just
ambacking, but you know what
straight.
I mean? Like, I'm just saying that if these are doing impulse thrust higher up... Well, I don't know what it would change. Look, I'm trying to be nice to it, because I like the idea of the wings moving up and down.
Sure.
I guess, well, here, you know what? When they are positioned upward, maybe the thrust is pushing more in a way that is at center of mass, and then, so it only has them flat at the sides when in dry dock. So it is more efficient to thrust with them up here like this.
It seems like they're flat at the side in this shot.
It might just be floating there. You never know.
I think it lifts them up for warp, specifically.
Okay, fair. Look, I was trying to just like you will try to come up with explanations sometimes. I was trying to come up with one, but I couldn't.
No, that's fair. I just, I'm too tired to give any credit today.
That's fair.
You were right. This does appear to be the bridge.
Okay, yeah, that is the bridge up top there. Got your little window there. You can see in. Has also a big observation deck below. I want to hang out. I want to hang out by a space window. I mean, I do and I don't. I really like the idea of being in space. Space is also really scary because anything bad happens to the ship you're on and you're fucking dead. But
true. Here's some dude hanging out next to the cargo bay.
Oh.
He seems nice.
Oh, that's funny. I don't even remember what that guy is. Little CG guy.
Yeah.
He's got bug legs.
The Voyager bridge is not... I don't... You know, I was raised on TNG, and so I like the comfiness of the TNG bridge. This is not that.
This is a lot of metal bars going on here.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's not, it's not... I'm trying to compare it, right? Because it's we all know the USS Enterprise bridge from TNG, the Galaxy class Enterprise bridge, and it looks very nice. You have a seat for even your psychiatrist to sit next to you.
It's got all these warm browns and reds.
Mm-hmm. The color is honestly the big thing, and I do think that it's funny because. I know that I'm more nice to the Defiance bridge, even though it's also dark. But the thing about the USS Defiant is because it's a warship. When it is a cramped kind of not very comfy looking bridge, it doesn't bother me as much in DS9. You can see it's got the computers are there's less open space. It's very... You have the captain is alone at the center. And... I don't know. I found that this just doesn't really serve either need. It is just kind of gray and boring, in my opinion.
Yeah, this feels like it is very utilitarian. Part of the size is a big part of that, right?
Yeah.
It's much smaller.
Yeah, having a much smaller set here, where this is still pretty large, actually. This is a large room. I mean, very big room. The Enterprise one also feels gigantic. I love the Enterprise's weird window, they're probably the lights, but you know what I mean. These fancy window feeling parts up here. This is funny.
You don't like it as opposed to the weird death ray a lot of the more military ships have?
Look, you need to be able to blast the captain directly because it's their fault, in my opinion.
I would love it if that was actually the reason.
No,
it's we just have to have a gun
would never
pointed
have
at the
the
captain.
bravery to do this. Now, would the Klingons have an execution ray? No, it doesn't feel. That's too cowardly. It needs to be done by someone.
It feels like it would be like Romulan.
Romulans would
so
do
the
it,
captain
yes.
knows stuff that the captain knows stuff that you can't. If the ship is getting boarded, activate the Damocles unit.
God, yeah, no. Knowing Romulans, it would be they activate a small singularity that just eats whoever's sitting in the chair.
How I came to Romulans is I was like, okay, this is something I would do. So which one of these people is the most like me?
Oh God. Romulans are so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there's not really a lot of variants to talk about, but to be fair, apologies, Aiden, if you really like this ship.
I will also apologize. Last time when we did the Enterprise, I did the bit of making us do all the shuttles.
Yeah. And
logically speaking, we should do that again. But also, I kind of did it for the bit of how much we had to talk. It was really boring. I don't want to do it again.
Now, to be fair,
Voyager has shuttles.
Let's talk about the Delta Flyer. Just the Delta Flyer.
Okay, that's fair. Sure.
That's the important little shuttlecraft that gets made. It's called the Delta Flyer, because it's for flying in the Delta
around
Quadrant.
the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, little triangular ship. So for some design elements to describe with it, you've got it feels almost like a Wipeout car to me, but a very early Wipeout car.
Yes.
But it's got the little window on the front, kind of triangular in shape going down.
Oh my God. I know this is a point. This is the point they're making on purpose.
Uh-huh.
The cockpit is horrifying.
Lamau. Well, we could blame Tom Paris for that. I believe that's his doing.
Yes, we can.
Look, it's like flying a plane. Anyway. Yeah, and then, it's got kind of a triangular wedge shape just when you're looking at it from the side profile. You've got 2 small wings on the side. A fun element with these wings is, so it's got the bright red lights on the front of it, and then the actual, like, main wing part is, like, a part that extends down. It's got, like, a blue little bit of energy on there. I like that these flaps, you can actually see they can pop up for maintenance there, but I like that they also pull out a little bit. Again, I don't know if that actually has any function, but I think it looks neat. You know, that they extend a little bit there. And yeah, oh god, Captain Proton. I just got reminded of Captain Proton.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Tom Paris has a holo novel that he's really into called Captain Proton.
Oh god.
Which is designed in the fashion of
Flash Gordon,
yeah.
Sure.
And so, you know, kind of like a 1930s pulp sci-fi kind of thing going on. And yeah.
This guy seems like a douche.
Who, Tom Paris?
Yeah.
Tom is... He's alright. You know what's really funny with Tom Paris is, so he's played by, Robert Duncan McNeil. He essentially plays Tom Paris twice because he's from an episode called The First Duty, which is a TNG episode. It's about a bunch of, like, super, like, genius kid pilots that want to, like, well, they're not actually, but, you know, there's an academy training exercise, someone dies, and Wesley has to decide whether he's going to basically, hey, am I going to throw our little clique under the bus because this was our fault? Or, you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. And there's a character in that who is, like, the leader of said clique named Nicholas Locarno. He's, like, this hotshot academy guy who is, in that episode, kind of a douche. Funnily enough, Tom Paris is basically, like... I mean, one, they're played by the same actor, and two, Tom Paris basically has the same kind of backstory where it's like, oh, he's, like, kind of a hotshot, but he was dishonorably discharged from Starfleet, and then he joined the Maquis, and then he later ended up with Starfleet again because the Maquis ship got stuck with, you know, Voyager, and so now they have to work together. And his character arc is basically, like, how you could imagine Locarno's, but part of me goes, I wonder if they just didn't want to pay residuals to the people who worked on that TNG episode, so they just made another, you know, Nicholas Locarno.
And then they made him into a lizard.
Well, okay, that happened to... that.
We talked about this.
Yeah, they go infinite speed and become salamanders, yeah.
Yeah.
I am
like this
so
panel a
happy that apparently... you know, more major spoilers. I haven't watched Lower Decks yet, I need to. But I like that I see that apparently Locarno shows up in Lower Decks. That makes me happy. Especially because I know Tom Paris shows up in Lower Decks. I hope they meet. I hope they meet.
There we go.
But yeah, no, it's just funny though that, yeah. I ultimately... I'm trying to think of the characters in Voyager, and I'm like, who do I like and who do I not like? I am mixed on Janeway. I think Kate Mulgrew is a great actress. I don't know if I'm always sold on the character herself. I don't think that's Kate Mulgrew's fault. I think she's wonderful. I don't like Chakotay. He's just kind of boring. Tuvok's kind of fun, but I'm also partial to I almost said Spock's two Vulcans. I like the Doctor. 7 and 9's cool. She gets introduced later. She's not going to be there for the first couple of seasons if I decide to rewatch it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, I'm not normally this person, but I feel like once a show is over 50 episodes, I am more willing to use a skip list.
That's, you know, that is fair. I feel like I don't remember finding Neelix all that funny. Who am I for? Oh, B'Elanna Torres. She's alright. She's got one of the most awkward episodes ever about her, though. Oh, and Harry Kim, I completely forgot about you. he's never allowed to do anything, and they kind of he has the Geordi problem because Geordi in TNG, I feel like is carried a lot by why am I spacing? LeVar Burton, like being a very charismatic actor.
Yeah.
But you watch episodes with Geordi, and sometimes they make him kind of weird. Like the episode where, it's like, oh, I'll make it so the holodeck makes the Enterprise as a woman, but also I'm going to model that woman on an existing woman who is like one of the architects of the Enterprise, and I'm going to have like a weird romance. There's a lot of weirdness. And I feel like Harry kind of has the same problem where, I feel like Garrett Wang, who is the guy who plays, Harry Kim, I don't think he's a bad actor, at all. I think that their character is just, they don't know what to do with him, and sometimes they just write him as the weird guy, who is permanently an ensign, even though he's like 30 or something. Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, alright, that's that, though. That's the Delta Flyer. It's a cool little ship. Now, is the Delta Flyer the one that goes infinite speed also? I don't remember. Threshold?
Seems possible. I don't know.
Voyager. Alright, so Threshold. Is it a unique oh no, it's an experimental shuttlecraft. Oh, amazing. Hold on. We don't...
Oh, we have another ship? We have another ship to talk
no,
about?
we see the cockpit. I don't know if we actually see the outside. At least I don't have access to the episode, so I can't. All I found was this. I was really hoping when I clicked on the link. Oh, apparently it was just a Class 2 shuttle. We went over these. Class 2, also known as a Type 9.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn. I thought they were going to come up with like some kind of CG nightmare. I couldn't remember. Again, been a long time.
Oh, well.
Alright, 6.
Where
can people find you online?
You can find me on Blue Sky, 6.scanlinemedia.com. You can find my work at scanlinemedia.com or patreon.com/scanlinemedia. You could support us there if you want to, check out all the work we do. And, of course, you can talk to us over on the Scanline Media Discord. Sorry for the lower energy episode. We're recording early because I'm working like crazy this week against my will. But also that means I'm really tired because it's early and I'm working like crazy against my will. So apologies for the lower energy episode.
Yeah.
Dylan, what about you?
You can find me at Low Poly Robot over on Blue Sky, Busky.
I like you were like Blusky, Boob Sky. Nope, neither of those, friend.
Look, my words are hard. Anyway, I'm over on Blue Sky. I post robots and ramble a lot, and that's me. Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta let 6 get some rest, so. I assume there will
unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's not going to be
and then go to work.
I'm so sorry. Well.
Yeah, someday.
Peace.
The USS Voyager. She made her name farther out there than any of these other relics had ever gone. I was reborn there. She was my home. Her crew were my family. That delivery is what 7 of 9 sounds like, right? Peace.